it's like here, and it just strikes me, it's April, I don't know what it is, it's April here. The roads in the national park, Yellowstone, Teton are getting plowed or something, sort of the shoulder transition season. And, I was going to kind of take off here. I put out a couple songs, and I feel like I hit gold. It was really the beat. The beat was fire on that last one. She's got Thomas Rhett on the radio. And, but I really, some of my social entrepreneurship goals, my sort of adventure, outdoor fitness, we were doing a lot of writing earlier with trying to build this ski race through the park where it'd be like you can only get the food, only eat during the winter race, the food you gathered yourself from the landscape and the preparation, so it reward hunting and fishing, and sort of be the cultural bridge, because a lot of people go into the national park are from the city and they don't really necessarily the people who are living in the communities around are more into that sort of thing versus the city people come, and it's more of a city experience for nature. I think it's a fair criticism. So we can kind of build a cultural bridge in terms of actually leveraging the fitness and the health community globally, worldwide, with the national parks here in America. So I'm very I feel like the vision is very strong. We have to do something about it. Why are we going to wait till next year? Maybe I should wait until it's more like biking season and the roads are clear and try to do something more in the summer. For instance, in Montana, the turkey hunting season opens shortly, and it's like that's the sort of thing. We're trying to make the hunting and the fishing, and backyard farming, permaculture, all these types of conversations, especially with what's going on with the president, nixing the EPA and the all the chemicals and shit. You can look up Earth Justice online. All the chemicals and shit that are being, used in crops and stuff. You drive through California, a lot of people drink almond milk. The almond fields and stuff are getting, my computer's doing something weird here. The almond milk, you camp out in an almond orchard in the middle of the night or whatever, and anyway. You camp out in an almond orchard in the middle of the night. They're out there spraying the crops. So, to try to take responsibility for the future generations. All what's going on in international news in Syria. The American news is saying there's a chemical attack or something. Well, there's also like a chemical attack domestically when we're not following through with what the scientists have said is harmful for those chemicals. So, blah 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 blah. I'm not pretending to be an expert. On this, that, or the other thing. I'm just, this is just an opinion. Freedom of speech, it's America. And I think that this is going to be a huge economic boost. This, for my background in the Iditarod and blah, 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 with the one dog and the skiing and then stopping, doing it like a stage race and having the calisthenic CrossFit type theme fitness challenges, and I kind of got away from that CrossFit stuff and I kind of did it a little bit last couple of days. Just some of the stuff, and there is good, you have to take some and you have to leave some with anything and everything. So, and it's all individual, and I have a back injury and stuff from something else. So, but I think, is there a way to try to somehow getting through this national park and do some video logging here in, Bozeman towards Jackson this spring, if it's a transition shoulder season and it's not really ideal, maybe that's a good time because there's not a lot of people out there and it's sort of a unique time through the lens of what we're trying to do to look at, the potential for this sort of thing. And, and for it to be a monumental thing, for it to be something that leverages the national parks by rewarding, the human physical fitness aspect as well as the environmental fitness, in terms of having vehicles with less emissions, in terms of leveraging all the partnerships with the businesses locally in Jackson and Bozeman. We've talked about this so much over the years, and I kind of had a master at being able to articulate it a few years ago, and now it's almost like I'm rehashing and I can't do it as well. But, but the talking points are so ingrained into me that, it's the idea of, like here in Bozeman, we've got like some the local businesses that are showcasing, like the food co-op or in Jackson, the low emission vehicles and stuff. We need to bring the national parks up to par with that so that we don't have like a Sinclair gas station in there carrying the real, tons of preservatives and the packaged food. We've got local farmers in Bozeman, around Bozeman, local businesses, those guys should have an opportunity to get that international spotlight by being showcased in the national park, and there has to be some sort of an intelligent process and system behind all of this, because you look at like the people who have the contracts for like the hotels and the lodges in the national park in Yellowstone, and over time it becomes the integrity and the fiber of all that, I think it degrades because it becomes a thing that's, they get complacent. And like, for instance, there's the lodge that's 30 miles from Jackson, and it's right on the designated groomed cross-country ski trail, and they don't do anything in the winter. They're closed in the winter, whatever that lake is there. And a couple years ago, I skied out there a couple times. I was like, this is a gold mine. Why don't we have an opportunity for people to throw a sleeping bag down and ski 15, 20 miles back and forth, and like an Appalachian type hut type ambiance or whatever and vibe. If there was an entrepreneur, why can't they step in there? Why is it just the people who have the summer contract who are running a big hotel for $400 a night and a big pizza place and stuff right on the lake there, 30 miles from Jackson? I can't remember the name of the thing off the top of my head. It's been so long. And I don't even go to Jackson anymore. When I came down to Alaska, I went to Jackson, Wyoming, but now it's like, it's a place to visit. But I'm more enlightened about the West and the culture and everything. There's so many beautiful small towns. That's such a tourist place. But you know what I'm saying? For someone who wants to have a business that's in line with everything the national parks are, why there are the other businesses contract is in the way of someone who has the vision, who has the entrepreneurship, and you look at Trump, our president, and stuff, business, jobs, solutions, but solutions and jobs and business that's not, but that also has the social entrepreneurship, that has the environmental ethos, and also, and lifting people, but not harming people or the environment, but doing good by people in the environment, business and jobs. So I think boosting the economy is the thesis of this conversation, but doing it in a healthy way, and how that mirrors and is aligned with the health and fitness industry and everything else. So it's sort of an exciting concept to try to do something and not to let it just go another year, but I really feel like myself, it becomes economic, just like everyone else. It's like going to the national park, you pay some money. I don't really want to do that. I'd rather just go somewhere else. But at a point, I have the good idea. I need to be able to, work with these people. And I think actually there's the room and the time and the space for the conversation with the people at national park, etc. is good now with all of the stuff that's going on, nationally, internationally, and how I think there's a fair amount of resistance for some of the federal stuff that's going on with, here in Montana, for instance, public lands is a huge topic where, a lot of public lands is going up for sale and stuff, and, I don't remember the name of the guy, but someone's running for the seat. If the guy Zink or something is out in Congress or Senate or something. So, the hunting and the fishing and the real rural and the conservative people really like access to the public land so they can go hunt and stuff. And they don't want, to be sold to multimillionaire guys from New York or, etc., for private ranches and shit, or even the ranches that are out here right now. They want to be able to have access to that land that they're, and for a couple generations now that they've used for hunting and fishing. So it's a cultural bridge, and that mirrors what we're talking about the national parks. We want to understand that, access to land is like, access to our most core human values and, the ancient and blah, 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 blah. I could go on. I don't have much minutes on this thing. So we're just going to call it there and just, just a quick kind of podcast video log thing. Did a little workout, got the dog. It's snowing out April 9th, and beautiful day in Bozeman.